हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल। हम अमेरिका की कांग्रेस के बारे में तो जानते हैं, पर भारतीय कांग्रेस, इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस के बारे में हमें जाननी चाहिए। एक ऐसी पॉलिटिकल एक्टिव पार्टी जो भारत के स्वतंत्रता के बाद से लंबे अरसे तक भारत में उनकी सत्ता थी। इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस की पॉलिटिकल पार्टी में किन किन लोगों ने अपना योगदान दिया और किन लोगों ने इनकी मजबूत नींव को रखी, आज हम वीडियो में जानेंगे। वीडियो में आगे बढ़ने से पहले चैनल को लाइक करें, शेयर करें, सब्सक्राइब करें और साथ ही बेल आइकन को भी ज़रूर प्रेस करें ताकि वीडियो अपलोड होते ही आप तक नोटिफिकेशन तुरंत पहुंच सके। इन इट्स अर्ली ईयर्स, Congress was an assembly for politically activated individuals who sought reforms within the British Empire. However, there were two distinct factions within the party. One group was in favor for seeking complete independence from British rule, with the other aim to bring about reforms within the existing system, with a focus on Indianization. This division marked the early phase of Congress, as different leaders and members had varied vision for the future of India, ranging from moderate reforms to a push for full sovereignty. They primarily advocated for the Indianization of administrative services, emphasizing that India should be governed by Indians with British collaboration. The majority of the founding member of Congress has been educated or lived in Britain. As a result, unrepresentative of the Indian masses at the time, it functioned more as a stage for elite Indian ambitions than a political party for the first 2 decades of its existence. Since its establishment, the Congress was led by modern leaders who were influenced by the Western political ideas, particularly liberalism. They emphasized individual dignity, the right to freedom and equality for all, regardless for caste, creed, or sex. This philosophy guided them in opposing British autocracy, demanding the rule of law, equality before the law, and advocating for secularism. However, by 1905, two factions has emerged within the party, leading to different approaches and ideologies regarding the method to achieve self-rule for India. A division arose between the moderators led by Gopal Krishna Gokhale, who believed in a peaceful and constitutional approach to achieve reforms and self-governance within the fraction of the British Empire, and the extremists. The moderates preferred to avoid direct conflict with the Britishers, aiming instead to reform their governance to better serve the country interest. They aimed to collaborate with British authorities and uses constitutional interest. They aimed to collaborate with the British authorities means such a petition, resolution, and dialogues to address the grievance of Indians. Over time, as they recognized that impact of British rule, may moderate leader shifted their stance and started advocating for Swaraj or self-government for India within the British Empire. Thereafter, the moderates followed a two-fold approach to achieve their goal. First, they aim to build strong public opinion, to inspire a sense of national consciousness and unity, while educating the masses on shared political issues. Second, they sought to influence both the British government and public opinion, advocating for reforms in India that aligned with the demand of the nationalists. In 1889, a British branch of the Indian National Congress was set up in London. Dadabhai Naroji, a member of the sister Indian National Association, was elected president of the Congress in 1889. He was the first Indian member of the parliament in the British House of Commons from 1892 to 1895 and spent a large part of his life and resources campaigning for India's clauses on the international stage. The moderates were able to analyze the political and economic impact of British rule in India. Dadabhai Naroji, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, and Dinshaw Vacha and others introduced the drain theory to highlight how British exploited India's resources. The drain theory proposed by these leaders challenged the notion that British rule was beneficial for India, shaping a national wide public opinion that British colonialism was the primary reason for India's poverty and economic exploitation. The moderate leader has several demands, including proper representation of India's on the Legislative Council and an increase in the power of this council. They also advocated for administration reforms and voiced their opinion on international issues. They opposed the annexation of Burma, the military action in Afghanistan, and treatment of tribal people in northwest India. Additionally, they called for better conditions for Indian workers who had migrated to countries such as South Africa, Malaya, Mauritius, the West Indies, and British Guiana. The other faction led by extremist or radical leader, including Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, and Lala Lajpat Rai, colloquially Lal Bal Pal, was more radical in their approach. Emerging as a result of the partition of Bengal in 1905, the extremist group believed in direct action and criticized the modern approach, advocating for more assertive and aggressive means to achieve self-rule Swaraj. They were less willing to compromise with the British and focus on building mass support, instilling in the sense of self-respect, self-reliance, pride in their ancient heritage, and national unity to attain their objective. The extremities leader opposed the use of violence against British rule and did not condone methods such as political murder and assassination. They successfully engaged the urban middle and low classes, as well as mobilized peasants and workers. The extremities leader utilizes religious symbol to inspire the masses, but they did not intertwine religion with politics. Tilak tried to mobilize Hindu Indian by appealing to an explicitly Hindu political identity displayed in the annual public Sarvajanik Ganesh Utsav and Shiv Jayanti festivals that he inaugurated in western India. Tilak, along with his friends Gopal Ganesh Agarkar, believed that educating the people was the best way to serve the country. In 1876, they founded the New English School in Pune. However, Tilak soon realized that education alone was not sufficient. The people also needed to be aware of the country's condition. To achieve this, he started two weekly publications. In 1881, the Maratha in English and Kesari in Marathi. By the end of 1905, Congress was transformed into a mass movement during the partition of Bengal and the resultant Swadeshi movement. However, the ideology difference between the extremities and moderates led to deep divide. During its session held in Surat in December 1907, a split occurred between two factions within the Congress known as Surat Split.